Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Phrasing Dispute Commentaries, the show where we discuss horror better so you don't have to. Oh boy, this video has been a long time coming, but before we move forward, let me just give a huge disclaimer. Number 1, I don't hate Nostalgia Critic, and this isn't some kind of we need to cancel Channel Awesome blah 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 thing. If you came here with the idea that I'm gonna wreck Doug Walker, I'm sorry. Number 2, these are just my opinions. Shocker, I know. Regardless, I know these movies being reviewed are not perfect, but I personally have my own opinions about them, and I think I need to address them for these types of reviews. Ever since I started doing my own movie reviews, I noticed a pattern, and I just wanted to show a contrast, aka the stupid. And number 3, this is just for fun. I don't want this to be like a serious commentary. I honestly don't think something like this can be really that serious. I mean, look at me. Do I look like the serious type? 'Cause I'm not! Also, hi, I see from the future here. I just want to preface a 4th disclaimer while I'm at it, because I figured people are probably going to point this out a lot in my review. I am aware that a good chunk of the points that Nostalgia Critic makes are joke-based, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, it's a joke, bruh, it's just a joke. I know this. I was prepared for this. Not only did I watch the Real Thoughts video on both of the reviews I'm going to cover in this, while also taking into account that, yeah, half of these could be jokes, and I actually found some of them pretty funny. I just want to say, like, I am aware that they are jokes. I am aware that a good chunk of these are jokes, but the main thing, or like the main issue that I have, is just the fact that there's no consistency and that some of the opinions that he tries to give are not that great and or not that strong. So I don't want to make it seem like I didn't get the joke or I got, trolled or whatever, I'm taking a joke too seriously. No, trust me. I know they're jokes. It's just that they're not good. With that in mind, what sprites would I use for a commentary about horror? Fuck it. Speed paint. Let's roll.
It opens with Freddy Krueger remembering the good old days of the bad old days.
The Springwood Slasher. That's what they called me.
I remember also looking 20 years younger, but my memory's weird that way.
The parents burn him alive after the justice system lets him go, and he talks to the audience about what became of him.
When I was alive, I might have been a little naughty, but after they killed me, I became something much, much worse.
Sequels. Weird Power Glove promoting sequels.
But he brings up that somehow people have forgotten about him, and he can't exist if people aren't afraid.
Being dead wasn't a problem, but being forgotten, now that's a bitch!
I've become Basic Instinct 2. Yeah, that was the thing. You didn't even know that!
So he uses what's left of his power to bring Jason back to make people remember him.
Keep this in mind, folks, because the critic doesn't seem to remember this. Was that an unintentional pun?
We then cut to a house in 2003 where these characters are inside, playing Fuck, Marry, Kill with the Three Stooges. Clearly someone understands the female teenage mind here.
Which one had the super bad toupee here? This is stupid, y'all. Come on! Is this what we're doing all night? Cause y'all, this is really stank.
Let me guess. She sounds like that throughout the entire movie?
Drop kick your ass frou-frou dongs that keeps humping this big old. Come on, get real. Let's go shake our ass to the dance floor.
And, who wrote this film again? White people. Can we just not white people today? It's exhausting sometimes. I need a break from us.
I mean, I think it's entertaining. I'm not saying it's not a stereotype because you can argue Kia kinda is, but she's more entertaining compared to Smokey McGee and Virgin Mary over here. I like to argue that even if the characters are stereotypes, it's still pretty standard for most 80s horror, which I would assume is what they're getting at. It would have been more obvious if Kia died first, but she didn't.
Maybe some of this forced exposition will help balance things out.
No one's ever gonna live up to the fuzzy memory of your first love, Lori. You were fucking 14.
Yeah, I know we were young, but what Will and I had was real.
Didn't Mr. Real just drop kick your ass without so much as a goodbye handshake?
Christ, why don't you just pause it and show her stats like a video game character? It's much easier to take than the natural human dialogue.
Excuse you? Oh no, the true horror, that is backstory. There's a reason why this is happening. It's not natural, obviously, but then again, this whole thing is happening in the Elm Street house. I think that is enough to gather that there is some explanation as to why that needed to be said. I must preface what Freddy said. Being forgotten, now that's a bitch! I know forced dialogue is kind of annoying, trust me, I've seen my fair share, but in this case, there's a reason why. And I really want to express that.
I mean, Laura, you've barely gone out since what? Since my mom died?
Or since I realized that represents my broken family character arc. Did I randomly mention I majored in spraying gas barrels and lighting torches? I hope that in no way plays into anything!
Oof! But it actually does, ironically enough. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
So while they all try to figure out which Nickelodeon TV movie they're dressed for, two of them take their sescapades upstairs, where Jason is waiting. Okay, I'll give this movie credit. Murder by bed sandwich is not something I see very often.
Thank you! Also, this dude who got sandwiched was the most two-dimensional asshole ever, making it even more satisfying.
Quick, let's go out in the rain where our clothes can get tighter.
You kids need some assistance?
What do you think?
Oh, come on, that was a wasted joke. You know why? The fact that there's no clue as to where they found the body, how they didn't call the police, they just ran out screaming, or just the cop that just conveniently drove by. Come on. And this is coming from someone in somewhat defense of this movie. You're better than that.
The cops think it's more than a coincidence that a murder happened at this house on Elm Street, but they know even saying Krueger's name can give him more power.
It's gotta be Freddy Krueger. Hey, don't even say that son of a bitch's name out loud.
We just took care of our Beetlejuice, Voldemort, and Candyman problem. When will people learn names are bad? They question Laurie at the station while the boy hitting on her swears revenge on whoever killed his friend.
I'm gonna take him out myself, Trey. Swear to God.
But the deep-fried Sandman comes in to make things worse.
Okay, I'm all right.
Well, that was a natural thing to say.
Okay, I'm all right.
I just thought I'd calmly alert the audience of that. I'm okay, I'm all right. Freddy seems to catch the same talking to the crowd virus.
Not strong enough yet. Well, I will be soon enough.
But Jason finishes what he started as he cuts off his dad's head so smoothly that it hops off his neck when lightly touched. Christ, I think Barbie's plastic head is harder to take off. But I swear to God I was gonna take out the killer. Never mind.
You'd think he'd be grateful for the fact that this movie's doing us a favor by getting rid of these pointless characters and pointless arcs. Oh, but no, we can't give any exposition to the lead character. Everybody needs to be a cardboard cutout in order for this movie to be better? I'm sorry, what? Also, the name rules for Freddy, I think, works because his whole shtick is about, you know, being remembered and not being forgotten, because that's just his whole thing, since he kind of gets in your head and messes with your dreams, and memory and dreams are connected to the brain, blah blah blah. I don't really see an issue with it, so...
Talk of the murders reach a mental institution on the acronyms attempting to be clever news.
I'm just gonna save that. You'll understand my point when we get there.
Where Laurie's old boyfriend Will, played by Jason Ritter, watches in horror.
Come on, turn it back on, man! I never asked for anything, just turn on the fucking TV, please!
Grunkle Stan is on another killing spree! It's okay, I got a ton of them in my Dipper joke book. Will and his friend break out of the institution, though, to warn Laurie and prove they're not crazy. In the most crazy way possible.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Because that's when he comes for you. In your dreams. He came back. Back for revenge in our nightmares.
Hi, Mark, by the way. I'm a friend of Will's. Real sweet guy. You're gonna die! Will finally shows himself by peering on the other side of the hallway. Guess Mark was his opening act? But she passes out, resulting in her recovering in the nurse's office, where I guess friends can wait.
Got your nose! That's some shitty CGI!
Oh, thank God, I just dreamed our effects were that bad. So Will and Mark go to see what they can figure out about Krueger, but it looks like all the information is not available. Or actually it is, they just literally black it all out. That wouldn't cause any suspicion. But Will, strangely enough, has a hard time believing all this.
They never told us about Freddy because that's how they decided to beat him. They locked up all the kids who'd made contact with him so they wouldn't infect the others.
That's crazy.
That's why I broke out, to warn Lori about this crazy thing I don't believe in. What am I doing again?
A little bit of research will tell you that media blackout is pretty much the term of what's going on with the newspapers, and sure, could be suspicious, but if you think of it this way, if the cops and the big heads in the town are trying so hard to censor Freddy out of people's heads so they don't remember him, no one would be really out looking for the newspapers and getting suspicious as to why it's being censored because they don't remember him. Hence why Freddy got Jason to do his dirty work for him. And that's the big thing here. Will doesn't know it's Freddy. Hell, there was a scene before all of this that showed that Will thought Lori's dad was the one that killed her mother in the house, not Freddy. You completely skipped that.
Kennedy, you're the one that told the cops Lori's dad killed his wife. Yeah, right, and now it looks like someone else got killed in the same house. You think that's a coincidence? 2 murders in one house?
You see what context does once you read it?
Insert early 2000 blurry cam filmmakers thought would be cool. Whoa, how come I can't focus on anything? Avant-garde! As everyone partakes in a cornfield rave. Thing? Man, this party's awesome! I especially love the crucifying kids over there! Meanwhile, one of the nerdy kids tries hitting on Lori, but Kia tells him to buzz off.
You tear me down to make yourself feel better because you really hate yourself, which is kind of pathetic when you actually stop and think about it, assuming, of course, you can think.
Well, I don't know about you, but that drew me closer to him.
Come on, let's dance. Come on, Linderman, let's go.
I really dug all that stuff about you saying I'm pathetic. You really know all the lines. Will finds Lori, though, and approaches her. They seem, though, to have a hard time figuring out what's going on.
Police have been acting really weird, like they know something, and...
Where was your dad?
What is going on, Will?
Well, look, 4 years ago, I thought
Oh, enough with this bullshit talk. Let's go shake our ass to the dance floor. Come on.
Oh, yeah, screw murder, man, dance! It's all about the dancing! Haven't you learned that getting our priorities straight has never been a priority? So Freddy tries to go after a passed out girl in her dreams. Funny, because being drunk stops REM sleep. But Jason kills her in the real world before he can get to her.
She's mine! Mine! Mine!
It's like an intern eating the last donut at work. Rude!
Some other teens see Jason and light him on fire, but that just makes him mad. Nah, I got nothing to say. This is awesome. The teens escape just in time for Will to reveal a big secret.
The reason I was sent to Weston is because I saw your dad kill your mom.
Will, my mom died in a car accident.
She stabbed herself repeatedly while driving. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. He talks about how he sees her get stabbed several times, yet the official cause is car accident. How does anyone believe these half-assed cover-ups? Sylvester Hiccup and Yellow Feathers would have a better cover-up than you!
You can't trust him, Lori. Whatever you do, don't go home with him.
See? You didn't understand. You still don't. You were confused.
Stop it, both of you, stop it.
Both of us are being choked! What am I supposed to stop, breathing? Lori finds out that what Will said might, and by might I mean obviously, be true.
Says Will doesn't know what he's doing. Immediately is told what he's doing in the next scene. What?
As Mark starts to be messed with by Freddy. Yeah, I wonder what's coming. No kidding. I thought you really wanted us to focus on the medicine in that cabinet. Way to catch us off guard. He shows him his dead brother who committed suicide and... Wait a minute. Is that the bully from Christmas Story?
But now he just won't stop.
Holy smokes, it is! It is the bully from Christmas Story!
I am so sorry for the fact that I have to use these very long-winded clips for the beginning of this commentary because I don't know which jokes to cut out and which ones to keep in because I don't know if people are gonna get on my ass for cutting context even though it's just literally all jokes in almost every 5 seconds of the review. In my original script, I wrote that even though this is kind of like mocking Mark with the death of his brother, there's still some context into what Freddy is doing because I didn't think the critic, actually got that. I think he kind of does. It's just kind of hard to tell if he, doesn't like it or if he just doesn't care because of the fact that there's just one joke after another in his reviews. So I can't really say. I guess he kind of gets it, but at the same time, it's still kind of like, yeah, he's totally mocking him, even though Freddy was literally giving you point-blank information on what he was doing, which is, again, why the characters are there. They're basically being used as pawns, essentially.
In case you're wondering, by the way, we're an hour into this hour-and-a-half movie of Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, hi diggity, here we go, boys, oh!
Notice anything missing? Freddy versus Jason! There's none of it! It's like playing a fighting game, except for 2/3 of the match you're watching Dawson's Creek for some reason. It makes no sense! You know what, I need a break from this bullshit. I'm gonna continue to find a more horrifying team-up.
Perfect timing for me to bring up one of my most massive points. Okay, yeah, I get it that this movie seems pretty You know what? No, I'm not playing these games. Irony to this, he gives this movie so much grief over having too much dialogue and no focus on the characters that it's supposed to be based on. Oh, would you prefer, I don't know, how Batman v Superman did it? Which literally had no connection, no interesting backstory, no motivation. The only thing they did was having two burly men fighting and making up because the only connection they had was that both of their moms were named Martha. Just saying. Okay, yeah. To be neutral, you can make the argument that both are two extremes of an issue that most movies like this seem to have, being more or less of a good thing. But think of it this way. You know how in Godzilla movies there's always that opening with characters leading up to Godzilla and whatever thing he's destroying / fighting? Well, you need to at least have some glue to keep a story together in order it to be considered a movie. This isn't WWE. The director clearly wanted to add some substance so the movie wouldn't be a total flop. There is a reason why these characters are here. There's a reason why Freddy is doing what he's doing and why Jason is involved. Oh, and remember that little logo Easter egg I saved? How is he was able to notice absolutely nothing of why these characters are here, yet he noticed something like that? Hell, I didn't even notice. Guess that just shows what kind of critiques that are focused on in these reviews, my lord.
So the kids are determined to figure out why Freddy was covered up. They sneak into a laboratory where they see all the past survivors.
Are they dead?
Yeah, they usually give dead people oxygen. But the human version of Droopy goes to see what's going on and gets axed off by Jason. All while Freddy tries to take over the mind of one of the teens. Yeah, that's what Jack Black sees in the toilet every day. So Freddy takes control of him, or this kid's testicles drop twice.
Let me handle this, bitch.
As Freddy drugs Jason up and knocks him out, resulting in him ending up in Freddy's world. "'Tis but a scratch." We finally get a fight between these two, and honestly, it is a little cool. Though Freddy throwing in pinball sounds is a little much.
Tilt. You know I'm only doing this to you because Michael Myers won't return my calls.
No it's not. This is very much what Freddy would do. He's a wacky son of a bitch. He would totally make this enjoyable for himself as well as the audience. But oh, let me guess, you watched the first Nightmare on Elm Street and just assumed that he was an intimidating creature. Oh yeah, because the other films were just pandering product placements. Fucking what?
Why won't you die?
The chant every critic gives when one of these comes out. It goes from red to green because... Christmas?
Red and green are contrasting colors. Not everything is... Wait. Red... green... Oh, you gotta be fucking... Ugh, I'm sorry. I just needed to contemplate the fact that I was so stupid that I didn't even realize that the red and green was a reference to Freddy's sweater, let alone a change of scenery. Now I really need to question the humor of these reviews.
As Freddy discovers Jason is afraid of water, reducing him down to literally a crying baby.
How sweet. Now there's a face only a mother could love. Yeah.
Freddy teases Jason?
If by tease you mean torture, it's not like Jason drowned or anything. Though, I do have to give credit where it's due. At least the critic didn't go off about how stupid it was for Jason to be afraid of water, unlike a lot of people I've seen. I think it's really clever that the movie was trying to establish Jason having a fear, thus giving Freddy the upper hand. Just because Jason popped out of the water at the end of the movie doesn't mean he still has a phobia of it, along with the fact that he was so weakened to the point that he just stopped giving a fuck. I just really wish this wasn't played down as teasing. It's not like there was a genuine nod to the original Friday the 13th film. Oh look, Pamela's decapitated head. How amazing. Seriously, how did people skip over that?
So Laurie agrees to go inside the dream to bring Freddy to the real world so Jason can kill him. Because as we all know, when you sleep really close together, you dream the same dream. Science.
Just give me 15 minutes and wake me up.
And where's my Inception bomb?
Yeah, but it's kind of a thing in Nightmare on Elm Street where when you fall asleep and dream, you go into Freddy's domain. This is literally a thing that happened on multiple occasions. It's not new. There's no logic to it. You just go to sleep and you appear in the dream world. Freddy then can just mess with you, and in this case, it's Jason's turn.
She goes inside Jason's dream where she sees Freddy torturing him.
Aren't you gonna help the kid?
It's not my fault this bitch is dead on her feet.
You know, that wave is so happy they should run it at the end of Beverly Hillbillies.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in.
No comment. But this is still funny. Not the critic, no, but Freddy waving the hand of the dead body that he just fucked. I can't believe I just recorded that. Why do I want to fuck this pizza face again?
They drive to the camp where the first Friday the 13th took place. Because who knew that Crystal Lake was right next to Elm Street?
It's literally across the street.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Wait. Where the hell even is... Okay, you know what? Designated Friday fanatic. Where the hell even is Crystal Lake again?
Hey, it's me, Java, the Jason fanatic here. Quick wanted to point out that crossing interstate between Ohio and New Jersey, in general, according to my fancy data here that I absolutely worked hard on, 9 hours in general. So let's say they actually got to the hospital at around mid to early day, and then they went to the camp and were there, let's assume early in the morning to the point where it'd still be dark. Yeah, possible. Not very likely, considering, you know, they'd have to drive non-stop straight, and Jason would have to be knocked out the whole time, or at least most of the time. Possible, but iffy there. Oh, this thing's still recording.
As she saves and wakes up Jason, only to also find out that Freddy possessed her dad to kill her mom.
It was you!
Yeah, I guess that's the big shocker in this movie. You know, if I pretended that was a good twist, would you? No, you have nothing to offer. I'm just calling that dumb.
I am disgusted. Okay, motherfucker. This was the whole reason these characters are here. Oh my god, I want to die. Okay. Maybe it was stupid. Maybe these characters don't really affect anything, but no. I can't do this. Move on.
Meanwhile, the teens never learn that in a horror film, you keep a lantern away from gasoline. Who the hell is a lantern in 2003?
I don't know. Maybe it's because they're in a camp from the 30s / the 50s, and the lanterns were used and left over in the 80s. Duh.
Which just gets Kia so mad.
Oh, you fucking asshole! God damn it!
That does not sound like someone going up against a killer. That sounds like someone annoyed that they lost their Netflix login.
Oh, you fucking asshole! God damn it!
I just discovered the IT crowd too. So
I don't get it. She seemed pretty pissed to me. What, did she need to be screeching like a banshee while she smacked Jason in the face? I don't know anymore.
They look for any weapon they can find.
America.
But Laurie manages to wake up while bringing Freddy with her.
Little bitch.
Dream science!
It was established in the first movie how to beat Freddy. Pull him into the real world. I'm done. I'm done. I'm looking less and less forward to the hit review now.
As we finally get the big showdown we were promised.
Jesus, Lindemann.
Yeah, please, go back to the kids! Clearly we haven't seen enough of them! Why don't you just call it the OC and a cough that kinda sounds like Freddy versus Jason? If you're gonna sucker us in, you might as well do it under your breath.
I'm gonna nut. Literally, that kid died in this scene from blood loss, so you got your wish. Also, again, because this movie established these guys, they need to finish it. How much are you willing to bet he would have bitched about the character disappearing if this scene and others weren't made?
So of course, Freddy chases after the teens because, why would you want to see him fight Jason?
Gee, I don't know, it's not like Laurie literally yanks him out into the real world. Maybe he's just a little bit pissed about that. You know, just a thought. Since when was Freddy been a rational thinker? Priorities are never a killer's first thought, and I know this because, back off man, I'm a scientist.
Think you're so smart, huh, bitch?
You know, I use that word a lot. I really gotta learn to expand my vocabulary. It's mostly bitch-based.
Freddy!
Guess I'm going over here?
Why did you cut this scene like this? Freddy literally says, "How sweet, dark meat, Takia." Why would you cut context into something so small?
Tell me something. What is with the butternuts? You trying to compensate for something?
Wow, I think that's the scariest face he's made throughout the movie. That's just longing to become a meme. Like, Walmart has edible panties, you say? Or, I farted, and it smells exactly how I look. Do what you want with it, internet, it's on me.
Actually, the face seems more pervy to me, but since you asked, challenge accepted. I'm 12.
Finally, Jason's like, piss off, bitch, my movie. And they get to some real fighting. To be fair, when they actually do fight, it is kind of fun. I like how he slams him through like a dozen windows or fires air tanks like torpedoes. Even Jason's crotch apparently is so hard, it hurts Freddy's foot.
Oh my god, what are those made of? Those chomp balls from Mario 3?
Wait a minute. So the pinball gag from the first fight was too campy for Freddy, but this isn't? Bruh, like, you can't insist Freddy's supposed to be this serious monster when he can get away with stuff like this. Honestly, I had a thought it would make more sense if it was too campy for Jason, since he's much more serious, but hell, I don't even think that. It's just confusing, man. Don't flip up everything. It just makes my brain hurt. Ow!
Hey, asshole!
Oh, I really should have thrown bitch in there. Freddy Krueger, everybody. The master of nightmares hanging like a Christmas ornament on a broken tree.
But Freddy literally stabbed Jason with a bunch of metal rods before this, and Jason needed a cop-out because he was losing— Why do you keep skipping everything?
But our Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom of this picture light the bridge on fire, blowing them up. Which, of course, is only like a light fog to them.
Wait, what? They literally escaped! You skipped that one, too!
And I'm out. Next battle will be whose reboot is worse.
It's yours.
It's yours!
Welcome to my world, bitch!
You know it sounds cooler when I say it, right?
It all seems to be over until Jason walks out holding Freddy's head. This movie when it's actually Freddy versus Jason, it is fun to see. It's goofy and over the top, but that's what you'd expect from these movies by now.
And that's all I need. Gotta be honest, I'm not even really that mad. I was just mildly annoyed with how he structured the review, and a lot of the points were just really meh. So, if you agree with this, that's fine. If you don't agree with this, I'm okay with that too. I'm honestly pretty curious what people think of my opinions about horror movies like this, because I always feel like I'm like the odd one out when it comes to these types of things. It can't be any worse than this, right? Right? Oh, shit.